If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580. By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
I'm Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. If your relationship is in trouble, I'm the dude to call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom turnoffs? Fantasies and fetishes. Financial infidelity. I'm dating a fat person. Are they worth the wait? Trust me, this is going to be crazy.
How about the heavy stuff?
The child wasn't his, and he still had to pay child support.
It's a very heated topic.
How was that right?
Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I just like to kiss. Is there something wrong with that?
He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant.
Betrayal has been committed.
Hit you with the bad touch routine.
How does he maintain his humposity?
He likes it when it pinches my neck.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses.
Yeah.
How do you rate women so well?
Zoe Williams,
Reason and accountability.
the voice of reason.
All right, hey everybody. In today's video, we're going to be talking about difficult conversations, how to have crucial conversations in relationships, why it's important, when it's important to have them, and really how you can go about approaching these kind of make or break moments. I mean, they can feel like make or break moments in relationships where certain things are happening either internally with you or externally in your dating and relationship as it evolves, where your voice is necessary. You speaking up and naming what it is that you need, what you want, something that's occurring that you're noticing, it's important. So how do we approach this? With me today is Jack Butler. Jack Butler is a fellow coach, friend, colleague, and he's going to be joining me as we unpack this and dive deeper into this territory. Jack, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Happy to be talking to you. Excited for this topic. Let's get into it.
So as we were talking offline about this, we had a couple different ideas of what we're going to go into, and I threw out there crucial conversations as a topic. I'd be curious to hear from you. Why is it that this topic is really important, and why do you think it's important for whether the coaching clients that you're working with or the people that follow your work? Why does this stuff matter?
I think because it's key to your ability to be authentic, right, which you know is a theme that, well, you value as well. I certainly value in my work.
I just had to get Reggie back. Oh, the voice of reason is back. But that clip spoke on something very key, and I'm going to tie it into what Reggie is talking about. Welcome back to the Voice of Reason on KBLA Talk 1580. We've come full circle after having come forward. Reggie was in the middle of cooking an 8-course meal, and it was on fire. Reg, jump back in here and finish your thought.
Just two things. The situation starts with you having a grip on your emotions so that you know what you're dealing with and how to deal with it with your partner. Then tell your partner exactly what energy you have. If you have it or not, then it puts you in an environment where you know what you're working with, and that's really all you can ask for at this point.
Right.
That's it, man.
And then stay with me because I'm gonna push back based off of what we just heard on the clip coming in. I agree with you. The energy piece is real, right? Not having the energy or the emotional capacity to have tough conversations, that is real. And unfortunately, for many people, that is their norm. But the problem with norms represent patterns. And so we were raised in such a way that we weren't taught to cultivate the energy necessary to have those kind of talks. And what happens is when we hear someone like Reg say, and he's 100% right when he says it, I don't have the energy to have this conversation. To me, that's just saying you weren't raised with the tools to be able to have the conversation. At some point when you recognize that you get fatigued by the real, That's your opportunity to say, let me pick up the pen of self-authorship and write this norm out of my life and write a new one. Because I believe if you train children from the beginning to be able to express themselves honestly, listen, we can tie this into attachment theory. Children who were raised in an environment where they couldn't express themselves openly and honestly have a maladaptive attachment style. That's because they couldn't talk. So do you think they cultivated passive dishonesty in order to just make it through the crib? So if they did that in order to survive at home, what makes you think they're not going to do that to survive in a relationship? So to me, when I hear your response, which is 100% true, I ain't got the energy for that. That's because you wasn't raised to cultivate the energy. So now, needing the energy in order to make the relationship useful and meaningful and purposeful, you got to look at the good stuff as the work now. That becomes the work. Like, in order for me to get what I want, I've got to learn how to cultivate self-awareness, self-acceptance, self-approval, self-worth, a sense of self, a self-concept. I need to be in love with me in order to be vulnerable. Like you said, to be vulnerable is difficult. That's only because you were never taught to deal with your vulnerability. You were either taught to suppress it or forget about it. You weren't taught to, let's be honest, what parent goes, hey, it's good to be vulnerable. It's okay. Open up and share it all, baby. Nobody does that. Am I lying?
Hold on. Yeah. I mean, I can take competing views simultaneously. I can hear what you're saying, and I can hear what I'm saying too.
I just said what you said was the truth.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. What you said.
What I'm saying is, well, okay. Let me say this. We define the rules in our relationship. I don't care what society says as far as who does what or whatever. We define those rules. So if the rules are we express ourselves and be open because we had a trust with each other, those are the rules that we have defined for our relationship.
But Reggie,
as long as we
go
ahead.
Reggie, you can't.
Go ahead.
I mean, my thing is, when you say we define our rules, I'm going to say, did you inherit those rules? Or did you actually write those rules from your pen of self-authorship? Because many people, you've already elucidated upon it ad nauseum, many people are using the rules they inherited. That is what the attachment style is. So all I'm saying is, if you're going to write a rule, let it be from your pen. Let it be from your hand, the hand of your spirit. Not the hand of what you've been through, not the hand of how you were raised. Go deep.
That makes sense. I think we take the best of what we've been exposed to, and we leave the worst. And so some things worked, and it's proven that it works, and I get it. I'm going to take it with me. But there are other things that absolutely didn't work. It served no purpose, and so we have to write that out and write something in that is applicable to us.
Right. I love it, brother. I love it, and I love you, man. Thank you for calling in. You're always a great call. Listen, if you want to bring your city in the building, you know what you got to do. This is a real conversation. Are you engaging in passive dishonesty? Not quite a lie, not quite the truth, grayer than all get out. But hey, that's how you were taught to deal with your uncomfortable feelings and emotions. So can we talk about it tonight when we come forward? We're going to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we're going to Houston, Texas. When we come forward, we got a lot to talk about.
The reasons that we're here, the reasons that we fear, our feelings will disappear. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build and inform and engage electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride sounds just right, just right, just right, just right. I gotta try that for Bree's car. Just right, just right, just right, la 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 la. We got these 40 days of consistency all over Bree's car, clips right on your face. You know my car's my happy place. Keep a smile on my face. When it smells just right, just right, just right, and free, happy for Breeze. La 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 la.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You know them stakes is high, talking about high. You know them stakes is high, we be talking about high. You know them stakes is high. The asymptomatic focal point bringing damage to your burrows. Be some brothers from the east with the beats that be thorough. Got the solar gravitation, so I'm bound to pull it. I get down like brothers are found, ducking from bullets. Gun control means using both hands in my land, where it's all about the cautious living. Migrating to a higher form of consequence. Compliment a struggling that shouldn't be notable. Man, every word I say should be a hip-hop photo. Sick of shaking ass, sick of talking about blood, sick of the shot.
Ladies, hey! The voice of reason and his playlist. My playlist is my co-host. In acknowledgement of hip-hop turning 50, you know I gotta play a little hip-hop tonight. De La Soul, the stakes is high. But the stakes are high when passive dishonesty has taken root in your relationships. Communication. The lifeblood of relationships is compromised by passive dishonesty. As the unspoken accumulates, the space for open dialogue shrinks, stifling the free flow of thoughts and emotions. Partners may unknowingly tiptoe around sensitive topics, fearing that candor will disturb the fragile equilibrium of the intimate interaction. The result is a stifling atmosphere where assumptions replace understanding and genuine connections with withers. It withers. The erosion of trust is a natural consequence of this muted discourse. Trust, akin to a fragile glass sculpture, is built through consistency, transparency, and the assurance that intentions are aligned with actions. Passive dishonesty shatters this delicate construct, casting doubt upon the reliability of the information shared. As partners or loved ones sense discrepancies between words and unspoken cues, uncertainty festers, corroding the very core of trust. You know you do it in your relationship. You know it's been happening. Don't play reindeer games with Zoe, okay? But here is why we're having the conversation. I really want you to know, having a loving, fruitful relationship is possible. The more truthful you get with yourself, the more truthful you will be to your partner. The more caring and empathetic you are towards yourself, the more caring and empathetic you will be towards your partner. If there's any negativity, pettiness, or passive dishonesty going on, do you know it starts within you? So if there's an insecurity, if there's an internal fear, if there's any self-marginalization happening, you're going to do that to your partner. This is why we say relationships are a mirror. Whatever you are, you get. Whatever you've worked on and completed, you get. Whatever you haven't worked on and completed, you get. And I know people don't understand it, but when you start really peeling back the onions, and I'm doing that, or peeling back the layers of the onion, I'm doing that in my latest book. I haven't talked about it, but I'm doing that in my latest book right now. And I'm marrying all of the clinical ideas with the spiritual ideas and with the scientific ideas. When the new book comes, you're going to be amazed by it. It's going to be incredible. But tonight we're talking about passive dishonesty, skirting around the truth as a means of self-protection, as a means of not avoiding conflict. Well, you already know when you avoid conflict, you actually help strengthen conflict. I know people ain't heard it like that before, but that's what happens. 1-800-920-1580. Let's get these callers in here now. Attila, Houston, Texas. Let's go.
Uncle Zoe, how are you?
I'm in here turned up right now, feeling good about life.
Well, I'm going to make a concession. All right, so the question, why does my significant other seem to hate straight talk? Because I do.
Why?
I mean, what else can I expect from them? Because straight talk is something that tears down barriers, right? It draws complete lines, plans in the sand. At that point, the relationship, the connection is just even more real. So if I'm running from that, if I'm running from myself, then
whoa.
I'm probably going to avoid that.
You just blew me up right now. So you avoid straight talk as a means of not allowing the relationship to get deeper and more meaningful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Talk to me about your process. Please. Why? Why do you do that? You don't want it to be real? You don't want it to be more meaningful? Why? Is this a form of self-sabotage? Talk to me.
I mean, yeah, you can argue it's a form of self-sabotage. I think I'm not really used to people, like, accepting all of me, right? Like, I think even when I think about my friendships, right, like, I've always kind of operated in this almost like piecemeal fashion because I know that there's certain aspects of me that are more appealing to certain groups or certain whatever. So, and part of that is just my personality. Like, it's just kind of understanding how people operate because I find people so intriguing. But the other side of that is like a fear, a serious fear of like, well, if this person sees all of me and still says no, like, what does that really mean? But
would you
it's
say
an illusion because
no, keep going.
Huh?
Keep going.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, I mean, it's kind of an illusion if I'm constantly saying no to myself.
Would you say that in relationships, because of this predisposition? Would you say that you're a bit of a breadcrumber?
That is not funny. Why am I laughing?
I mean, I hear you. Like, I hear you talking and saying things that you're not saying, but are you a breadcrumber?
I have been known to do so in the past. Yes. And I want to say something else. People pleasers are kind liars, okay?
People pleasers are kind liars. I love it.
Yes.
But guess what? That's a different topic. Stay with you right now. Ooh, Lord, this child is breadcrumbing because you don't want a deeper connection. Right? And we talked about this before, right? When you called me. And you said that your attachment style is what again?
Fearful avoidance.
Fearful avoidance.
I'm not proud.
So it start getting good. You think this might go somewhere and you go breaks.
I mean, it's not like how, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a break. Like, to me, that's more so like somebody who's dismissive avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for a fearful avoidant, like you're enjoying the benefits that you're getting out of the relationship or the parts that feel good, but you're also like definitely afraid of the parts that don't. So in my relationships, whether that's with my family or my friends, like I've just kind of adopted a new policy, right? Like feel the fear and do it anyway. So what that has shown me essentially is that it allows people to fully be themselves, and then I can fully be myself because now they have a true understanding of who and what it is that they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. So they're not getting some sort of version of me that just, agrees with everything that they're saying or is comfortable. They're comfortable around that person or whatever. Like, it's like, this is me. This is what I really actually think. And this is like my vulnerability. So in the last few months, it's been difficult because I've had to face the fact that, even you can't really stop the unavoidable, right? So if someone's going to reject you or whatever the case, they were planning to do that regardless. Like, It really doesn't matter. So just having to really, like, accept, like, this is me, this is who I am, this is how I process stuff. Is it confusing to some? Yes. But those that get it, get it. And in that, I've been able to develop, like, real friendships. Like, and I could feel it, like, on a soul level. So I'm not necessarily as fearful anymore, but it takes a lot of work getting used to. And I think when you see someone else who has the same qualities that you've had in the past or the same qualities you do have at that moment, like if you can recognize it spot on, like, okay, I know exactly what this person is doing. Mm-hmm. So at that point, it's just moving accordingly.
We love Attila. We love Houston, Texas. We love Attila for bringing Houston, Texas in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. Let's go over to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Angel is in the building. What up, Tulsa? You got to turn your whole living room down. Whatever you listening to me on, you got to turn the living room down so we don't hear it in the background.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Welcome to the show. What are your thoughts about tonight's topic? What's on your mind? What would you like to share?
Well, I don't like sharing, but
hey!
Since I'm on the show now, I guess I'll share that, normally growing up, mother didn't allow me to, talk. It was just her that talked. And so now I have a hard time, I guess, expressing myself, especially in relationships.
And how has that affected your relationships, not being able to share in the way that you want to?
Well, keeping me from, I guess, being able to relate better. Shoot.
Listen, it's okay. This is a non-judgmental space. There will be no judgment. You can share in a way that you're not accustomed to, but trust me, you will not be attacked for what you share.
So, So earlier I was saying to myself, it would be nice to be able to speak to someone and let them know that I come from a two-mother home and I wasn't raised with a father, so I don't know what that looks like. But I have an idea made up in my mind, which is why I'm in the position I'm in now, single and alone. And I know Atala in the chat was asking what my intentions were or what my motive was behind me wanting to be in a relationship. Now, I thought we were created to be together.
So let me go deeper into that a little bit. Yes, men and women and love is supposed to happen, and it manifests itself in intimate relationships. Absolutely. But I keep telling people, I think people miss a crucial point. You have a societal perspective of relationships, which is more transactional, which is what school did you go to? Where do you work at? Can you afford a date? Do you have a car? Do you have your own place? You know, all of these things, right? But then the real reason for a relationship is for self-revelation. This is why I've usurped the famous quote from my favorite philosopher, Jiddu Krishnamurti, relationship as a mirror. Relationship is a mirror. It mirrors what you need to work on. So you tend to get someone who actually exacerbates wounds or shadows within your spirit. It exacerbates that, brings it to your conscious mind so you can take responsibility for it and thus what I call recontextualize it, change it, right? But most people think relationships are about Netflix and chill. Most people think relationships are about open the door. And sure, part of that is there. Yes, let me take you on a date. Yes, let's go hang out. But the real work in relationship is what's coming up in you that needs to be resolved by you. That's the real purpose. Relationships are inherently spiritual. So what work is showing up is what the relationship is exacerbating. It's coming up, right? It's coming up. I don't talk. Okay, so now I need to recognize, wow, where did I get this from? How did I get this communication style? And do I have to live with it? Or can I overcome it? And if I overcome it, does it make me a better person in relationship? Does that make sense?
That does make sense. And, well, now, see, there's two sides. Because I know you're saying that we have dualities, and so I'm either too much and I talk too much in a relationship, or I don't talk enough and I shut down. And it seems like
you're gonna share with me when you're too much. I gotta hear this. You gotta break this down for me. When we come forward, more from Angel out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Who they've hated. That's why the native tongues has officially been reinstated. You know them stakes high. You talking about y'all know them stakes high when we dealing with them. So it's about love of car, love of fun, loving to love mad sex, loving to love guns.
It's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Multiple reports say 10 indictments have been returned by the grand jury in Georgia's election interference case against former President Donald Trump. It's not yet known if Trump himself was indicted because the case reportedly involves several defendants. We may later learn details on the charges. Trump is accused of breaking state election laws in the weeks after Election Day in an effort to remain in power. The charges center around actions that include allegedly making false claims of ballot fraud and pressuring local officials to find him more votes to overturn the election. Black Democratic Fulton County District Attorney Bonnie Willis has been investigating Trump and his allies for more than 2 years. Trump has denied any wrongdoing. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the accident guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? The accident guys can come to you almost anywhere, so you don't have to come to us. Se habla español.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580. By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
The Los Angeles Urban League helps African American and others in underserved communities achieve true social parity, economic self-reliance, and civil rights. For over 100 years, Los Angeles Urban League has ensured our communities have access to careers with living wages, opportunities to start and grow businesses, and clear pathways to personal and professional growth. Programs like BizCamp, Construction Career Academy, Spa Business Ready, and B-Warp. The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Program are examples of the ongoing events designed to make our centennial mission to rebuild Black Wall Street right here in LA a reality. To sign up for our newsletter or to support the Los Angeles Urban League with your time, talents, and donations, visit laul.org. That's laul.org. The Los Angeles Urban League is a proud sponsor of Urban Family Focus, Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As black folk, we know how to face tragedy and not fall into despair. And yet sometimes the points of pain are felt so acutely, especially when we know full well that we're being treated unfairly by our so-called justice system that at times appears to be anything but just. After more than 30 years of public service, Mark Willie Thomas is set to be sentenced on Monday, August 21st, for his conviction on bribery and conspiracy in a federal corruption trial. As you well know, Willie Thomas was found not guilty on 12 of the 19 counts the feds brought against him. This is not your typical corruption case. No lavish trips, no victim, no cash in a brown bag or stashed away in a freezer, no illegal contributions from a wealthy donor, no money received by the accused, no use of taxpayer dollars. There is therefore no need to incarcerate Ridley Thomas to protect the community. Indeed, the probation department has recommended a mere 18-month sentence. But the feds, they want MRT to serve 6 years. 6 years. How is that fair? This happens far too often to defendants who just happen to look a lot like you and me. First, they target you. Then they overcharge you. Then they fight to keep certain folks off the jury. Then they spend millions of your tax dollars prosecuting a victimless $100,000 criminal allegation. Then, typically, they win, and why shouldn't they? In reality, no case of the United States government against you is really a fair trial, if you feel me. Then, after they win, they ask for a sentence of more than 3 times what the probation department is recommending. Again, I ask, how is that fair? I read the federal government's summary document regarding the sentencing of MRT, and the charged language they use is both revealing and despicable. You can clearly see their disdain for the constituent community, for the black clergy who have stood with MRT, and mostly for MRT, daring to exercise his constitutional right to even go to trial to defend himself. The feds demanding a 6-year sentence in this case is their way of punishing an uppity Negro who dared to fight back. Let's hope that the judge in this case sees through this racist masquerade and delivers a sentence of time commensurate with the crime, even as MRT appeals this verdict. There are no good times to be black in America, and sometimes are worse than others. For KBLA Talk 1580, I'm Tavis Smiley. We welcome your comments.
Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Joe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
On the way, I got big sweat. Find me windows rolled down, turning brown, switching head. Only so much that I can say. I told her that I know that she got a way to make it go away about half the time. Why you gone here? Keep my head on my shoulders, but so when it's over, this pain is for here. Please stop. Say I know you, baby. Love's just a feeling you get when you're feeling alone. Baby, nothing is out there for me, so I'm staying
home. This person wrote in and she said, well, first of all, she says, Abby, you do amazing work and bring knowledge to the world that has improved my life and the relational lives of others. I love your longer podcasts. So some of you have written in that you don't like the longer podcasts, you like them shorter. But see, this is what happens for me. It's hard to please everybody. But as you know, I like to babble. So a lot of times they're longer because I just like to get it all in. So what she's saying is that she searched for lying in my search engine. You know, if you go to my website, there's a search engine in there and you can search like lying, cheating, whatever, you know, mindfulness, whatever floats your boat. And you'll get whatever I've written, talked about, you know, the blog, everything there. And so she says she's looked for that and she's listened to almost all the podcasts and my book. Thank you. But there's something that hasn't quite been answered, and it's a really good question she asked. So I'm excited to get into this because I think a lot of you have this and don't realize it, that it's happening. So she says, she and her husband are in this sort of dynamic where her husband will lie to manage her emotions. Do you know how common this is? I just want to say that. This happens all the time, but people don't realize that's what's happening, that someone is saying yes to something because they don't want you to get upset. But then later they're going and doing whatever it is that they really wanted to do anyway. And they're kind of ignoring what you asked or whatever, or they're, again, saying yes to things that they really don't want to say yes to because they're trying not to get you upset. And that's lying. It's lying, I know. But we don't necessarily think of it as lying. Lying we think of as more as, she said she was out with her girlfriends and she was really out with a guy. That's a lie. That feels like the lie. But this managing emotions, and I do want to say, though, I put it in a slightly different category than quote unquote regular lying like that. Like, maybe you're cheating on your partner and you're lying about it. That to me is different than this emotional manipulation. Most of the time people do it and they have no idea they're doing it. And that is different than lying. When we lie, we know we're doing it. So I want to say that first. First, I haven't even read the whole question yet, but I want to say that first and foremost. So, and it also helps you really think of it differently. Your partner trying to manage your emotions isn't cool, and we want to change that. But they're not knowingly, maliciously trying to get over, usually. Sometimes they are if they, again, if there's a really sinister thing going on. But what this woman's talking about and what other people have come to me with, it's usually not sinister. It's just people trying to get by in their marriage and trying not to rock the boat is generally what it is. But
are you passively dishonest as a means of not trying to rock the boat? Oh, my God. Communicative eggshells. Let me make sure I don't rattle her cage or rattle his cage by sharing too much. I don't know. The Voice of Reason is on complete fire tonight with phone lines from all over the country. Let's get back to Tulsa, Oklahoma with Angel. Angel, what are your final thoughts on this? Angel.
Oh, you said what are my final thoughts? Yes.
Yes. What are your final thoughts on this topic?
Oh, well, you explained it well, and I think the passiveness needs to be addressed, especially within my own personal life.
What are you going to do about it?
Perhaps go deeper and not stay so surface.
What about therapy?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely on the list. That's not something that I'm not wanting to do. It's just something financially strapped, but it's on my list. That's why I watch your show.
Oh, I appreciate it. But trust me, therapy will help. And are you an African American woman?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Trust me. You can get it. You can get some therapy. You know, you can get some therapy. I want you to go do it. Trust me, it is beneficial. It will help. And let me just say this. The more you accept yourself, let's talk about self-acceptance. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of yourself do you accept? Or how much of yourself are you ashamed of? Or where there's guilt or wounds? Or are there areas of yourself that you haven't 100% embraced? Can we talk about that?
So, yes, I am not myself at work, and so at work I could say that I'm probably a 5, but at home I'm probably like maybe a 7.5, an 8.
Just remember those places and spaces where you don't 100% embrace and love on yourself create relationship opportunities. Did you hear what I said? They create relationship opportunities. In other words, a relationship will be magnetized by those unrequited wounds because those wounds want to be addressed. That part of yourself that you keep pushed down wants to be addressed. It wants to be healed. It wants to be reconciled. So it will call in a relationship opportunity so that it can be irritated so you can tend to it. Remember, the irritation is just like the oil light coming on in your car. The car is telling you, I need oil or this engine is going to break down. Your spirit is saying, this type of toxic person needs to come in your life so you can get this toxicity out of yours. Again, let me go deeper. The venom of a serpent, the cure is in the venom. You take the venom and then you mix it with something else, and that very same venom becomes the antidote. Do you understand? The problem has a solution inside of it. We think the solution is a new person. And guess what? In a backhanded way, it is, but it's more harsh. What do you mean by that, Zoe? You got to go through the toxic relationship in order to get the venom or in order to get the antidote. Whereas if you spent time by yourself, embracing yourself, loving on yourself, approving of yourself, good, bad, and indifferent, then you attract a different type of person. They come with the same energy you come with, which is healing, loving, self-acceptance, the expulsion of guilt, the expulsion of shame. But you got to look at where you came from. You got to look at your origin story, and you got to not judge the people who raised you. You got to not judge them for what they did or didn't do, and you got to release yourself from those patterns and then pick up the pen of self-authorship and start writing the reality you want. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah.
All right. Well, guess what? Go find the therapy. I love you for calling in. You got a seat at the table. Tulsa, Oklahoma is in the building because you brought him in the building. If you want to bring your city in the building, all you got to do is call me at 1-800-920-1580. When I come forward, more callers. I'm talking to everybody tonight.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Extreme heat can make you very sick and can be deadly. For Californians 65 and over, it's important to have a plan. Ask your healthcare provider if your medications affect your ability to cool down. Know the signs of heat illness and stroke, as well as the location of your nearest cooling center or air-conditioned space. And if you have loved ones over 65, be sure to check in on them on hot days. Learn how to stay safer from extreme heat at heatreadyca.com. Brought to you by the state of California.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Escúchela, la ciudad respirando. Escúchela, la ciudad respirando. Escúchela.
The new moon rode high in the crown of the metropolis, shining like who on top of this? People was tussling, arguing and bustling. Gangsters of Gotham, hardcore hustling. I'm wrestling with words and ideas. My ears is quick, seeing what will transmit. Subscribe to the plot, transcript. Yo, this ain't no time where the usual is suitable. Tonight alive, let's describe the inscrutable, the indisputable. We New York, the narcotic, draped in metal and fiber optics. We're mercenaries who paid to trade hot stock for profit. Thirsty criminals, thick pockets. All levels on the second hand of working class watches. Skyscrapers is colossus. The cost of living is preposterous. Stay alive, you play and die, no options. No Batman and Robin. Can't tell between the cops and the robbers. They both tossing, they all heartless, with no conscience. Back streets stay talking, for unbeliever hearts.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday. Did you think the voice of reason and his playlist wasn't going to be on deck today? Yo, we had a lot of great records play today. We started with You Ain't Gotta Lie to Kick It, Kendrick Lamar. The next track was called For My Ladies by Yusuf Days. That was a great record. Then we had a record called A Tribute to Dilla, Jay Dilla, famous hip-hop producer from Slum Village that inspired so many generations of producers. That track, A Tribute to Dilla, is produced by Liquid Crystal Project and Jay Rawls. Then we had Stakes is High, De La Soul, Never Let Me Go, Mac Ayers featuring the Cartoons. That was a great record. And then the record you just heard, Black Star, Talib Kweli, and Mos Def, Respiration. Great record. We still got more records to come. before the end of this hour, man, but my playlist is my co-host, and it's been rocking with me. since the beginning of this show. Let's get our callers in here. But before I do, I definitely want to just give you guys a little bit more context and clarity. The ethical landscape, right, is often painted in shades of gray, where the lines between right and wrong, can blur, leaving us to ponder the moral contours of our actions. Passive dishonesty, a subtle dance between withholding truths and navigating social dynamics, beckons us to question whether there exist circumstances where its embrace might be justified or morally acceptable. As the clip before tried to elucidate on, trying to protect your partner's feelings from an uncomfortable truth. Some people may say, oh, well, that's a good place. That's a moral space for passive dishonesty, to exist in a relationship, or that it has a place. Again, what I've known about dishonesty, and I'm only speaking from my experiences, whenever I was dishonest, it never led to a good place to me. Now, I'm not saying that, what people are saying, with this idea, passive, dishonesty may, having some type of moral use in a relationship. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I know whenever I was dishonest in any way, shape, or form, even if my intentions were right, it never led to anything positive. So that's my thought on it. We got callers on the line. They want to talk about it as well. Let's get them in here. Nazarene X, Atlanta, Georgia. Get in here.
What up, huh?
What up,
well,
brother?
It's been crazy. Ain't nothing, man. It's been crazy tonight, like straight hot monkey lava.
That's what this is. This hot monkey lava, right?
All the way, yes, sir. Kind of turned it up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I love everything everyone's been saying. I love the context, the way that you elucidated and everything, just providing more of a wide range scope of what this concept is.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about how we're, cultivated to be little liars.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, I don't know if people remember how you might be in school and then you learn how to tilt your book in your head a certain way. Like, you'll be asleep, but you reading though.
Right. Right.
Or again, like, you know what I'm saying, you might be at a job and you know how to look busy, and sometimes your manager will tell you, like, look busy over here. Mm-hmm. Like, don't just be twiddling your thumbs. So low key, I think it's part of these quote unquote games that we get used to playing out here in general, that again creeps its way into our relationships, to where the whole, passive dishonesty is more like an intentional positioning. And why you're doing that is really telling about how you respect the relationship you're in, or the person that you're in a relationship with. So if you lean into the aspect of respect, it's like our girl Arabia say, better hunt it, shoot a hunt, at least once.
Better hunt it, shoot a hunt. Come on.
Get on into it. And it's like, at the end of the day, you owe yourself that, if what you want is something more full. But again, a lot of times, if we're just kind of going along to get along and don't want to necessarily be, how they say, both feet in the water or jumping all the way out there, that's where you become more, I guess, in the background. You're only concerned about protecting yourself, really. And it gets masked in these different ways, man. So just want to kind of leave that up in the air. And I love the conversation. Thank you for having this topic. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate the insight. Nazarene X, Atlanta, Georgia. Let's get on over to Jacksonville, Florida. Mimi, get in here.
Hey, Zoe. Hey, everyone.
Hey. How are you? What do you think about tonight's topic? What are your thoughts?
I think tonight's topic is great, as usual. Me, myself, I'm still doing my work. I'm growing and I'm learning. I'm a little nervous to say this, but I believe that I am positioning myself in a place or allowing myself to be positioned to get ready to be completely spiritually and emotionally naked with my partner to be. I'm ready to just get down and dirty, naked, where we just love each other, good, bad, and ugly, and we're just naked all the time.
We love it. Congratulations, Mimi. We love it. Get in here. Handle yours. I want to be naked all the time with my partner.
I do want to be naked all the time. Naked is the best. But I mean spiritually now.
No, I got you, Mimi. I hear you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mimi from Jacksonville, Florida. She told the truth. We appreciate you for calling in as always. Thank you, love. You know you got a seat at the table. We appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight has been a very powerful topic. Right? Passive dishonesty. Wow. Instances of passive dishonesty that could be morally justified may arise when the preservation of a person's well-being or mental health hinges upon a carefully chosen omission. Picture a scenario where revealing a painful truth could irreparably harm the person that's already struggling with a fragile mental health situation. So you might not want to tell the truth, shielding them from the complete reality, though involving a level of deception could be deemed ethically permissible if it averts further psychological harm. Another context where passive dishonesty may find moral footing is within delicate familial situations. Imagine a terminally ill relative who has chosen not to share their prognosis with their aging parents, fearing it would devastate them. In this poignant instance, withholding information can be seen as an act of compassion, sharing their loved ones, or sparing their loved ones from unnecessary anguish during their twilight years. There are reasons for it, but what I'm trying to explain to you guys is a healthy relationship is about openness, right? And if you create a safe space for people to share their secrets with you, that doesn't mean you take their secrets and go pass them on to anybody else. It just means we've created a safe space to be honest with each other. And I'm not saying whatever you're honest with each other about is to go out, on the internet. I'm saying within a relationship, I don't think passive dishonesty is a good thing. I think you guys share with each other, and what is shared between you is what's yours. I don't think it belongs to anybody else. But these are just my thoughts. I start the conversations. You finish the conversations. Up next, Jill Monroe and her powerful show, RSVP, will keep the fire lit. The voice of reason, we started it, you finish it. I'm out.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Multiple reports say 10 indictments have been returned by the grand jury in Georgia's election